Okay, welcome everybody. Today 13 of the journey to 2000 Dilo. So we get the black pieces. Oh my god. Again, it's like every single game it's black. I don't even remember how it feels to play with white man. It's been ages since I got the white pieces. Like, what's wrong with chess.com, man? I'm really annoyed. Anyway, d4 for the hundredth time in a row maybe. I've always been facing d4 a lot, which is annoying, but d5. Let's see what my opponent is going to play. He plays the queen's gambit. I'm going to accept the gambit. I mean, every single game is black, 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 black. e5. Okay, my opponent pushes. I'm gonna develop my knight. He develops his knight. I play b5. All of this is just some normal theory. So, yeah. Okay, my opponent pins my knight. I develop my bishop. So let's see what my opponent is going to play. Okay, he takes the pawn, but that's a bad move because I can sacrifice my bishop here. Okay, the king takes, but it's completely fine. I'm going to get the bishop now. Okay, and I can take back with the knight. If I take with the queen, he has a fork here, so that's not good, I think. But wait, let's calculate. If I take here, okay, and he takes here, I go with my king here, attacking the knight. He takes my rook, I go check. Let's say he blocks with the queen, and I have nothing. So I think I'm just gonna take with the knight. So yeah. Okay. My opponent takes this pawn. So now I think I'm going to castle maybe, or maybe kick the knight and then fiancé to my bishop. I mean, there are a lot of moves, of course. So I think I'm gonna castle. Maybe I should attack the knight, but I don't see a threat here. So I'm gonna castle, and then I'm gonna develop my bishop, my knight, bring my rook to the e file, and so on. So my opponent goes here, but I think I can pin the knight. Yeah, let's pin the knight. Now I have a threat of just going e5 and just winning the knight. So yeah, I can take here. He takes. I think I'm gonna trade. Let's trade. Okay, my opponent takes. We take back, and I can go e4 here. My opponent cannot take because of the pin. Okay, my opponent goes here, but I think I can attack the knight. Let's say I go knight here. He cannot take because I just go check and I win the knight. So yeah, let's take here, attacking the knight. Just to be clear, he doesn't have a fork, because if he takes, I have check and I win the knight. So, or maybe no, I don't win. I don't win the knight. So, maybe I blundered. Oh my god, I think I actually blundered. Okay, this is not great. I thought I'm going to check and win the knight, but I guess I just blundered. So I think I just have to take now and just develop my knight and play down an exchange and just try to fight on. It's not over yet. He has a weak pawn. My pawn on e4 is nice, so let's cover our back rank and try to get my knight here. So let's defend our pawn. I'm gonna try to bring my knight to d3, where it will be so active. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, let's activate our knight, and then I'm gonna bring my king to f6 and try to hold on to the position. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, my opponent goes here. Can I check? Okay, I go check. If he goes here, I can then push the pawn. So if I check and he goes to d4, I'm gonna go check. I think check is good. If he sacks the rook, okay, he goes here. So let's think a bit. If I go here, his king cannot actually move. I think the king will be in some sort of mating net if I go g6. So maybe I do that. I think it's a good move. Let's go g6. G6, yeah. So his king is like in trouble right now. The only legal square for the king would be h4. So yeah, I think if I can somehow get my rook here, I can checkmate him. So he has to be careful. Okay, my opponent creates an escape square for his king, but I can push and put my knight here and then push again, right? Or maybe I put my rook on the e file first. Okay, I'm gonna put my rook on the e file. Okay, he goes here. I think I can push. What if I take? He takes. But what if I push? Let's push. Then I'm gonna push e3. Yeah. I'm gonna put my knight here. Okay, let's go here. Or wait. I can just fork the two rooks. That's a blunder, right? I go here. And I think you just lose the game. Because this is a fork. So okay, how I don't see any defense, because if you take my knight, I get a queen. You can't move the rook, I just take it. You move the other rook, I take again, and I will be up a piece. So I think I just won. I don't know. So let's see what my opponent is going to play. So yeah, I honestly don't see any defense. That's just a bad move by my opponent. So yeah, he's going to lose one of his rooks. So okay, and my opponent resigns. So yeah, we get a nice win. Of course, despite the fact that we've been playing like 90% of our games with the black pieces, we are still fighting. You know, we are still getting some good results. Like the last time I played with white was like, I don't know, maybe like in the last 13 games or 14 games, I think 10 games were with black and the rest was with white, which is just completely crazy. I don't know what's wrong with chess.com. Like, just give me the white pieces for once, man. So anyway, let's review this game and see what was going on. Okay. So yeah, I played with a 75 accuracy. My opponent played with a 65. It was not a good game at all, but we kept fighting on and we were able to win. So my opponent played d4. I've been seeing d4 a lot these days, of course, because the only thing I've been playing with is the black pieces. So that actually makes sense. So d5. My opponent plays queen's gambit, and against the queen's gambit, I just always accept. Like, this is the only thing I play against the queen's gambit, and it's also the thing that I will recommend to everyone who suffers against the queen's gambit. Try learning this accepted variation. It will help you a lot, and it's a very good opening actually. So my opponent goes e4, I go e5. This is all theory. My opponent pushes the pawn, I develop my knight, he develops his knight, I push b5. My opponent pins my knight, I develop my bishop, and I can sacrifice my bishop here. After his king takes, I get the piece back. My opponent takes the pawn, and I castle, which was the best move. And this was a blunder. Wow, it's plus 4.9. Okay, was bad. What was the move here? Okay, I think apparently I should have taken. And what if he takes with the queen? I push. Oh, okay. That makes sense. The idea of taking here is you would go check and you will win the bishop. Okay. So yeah, that makes sense. I completely missed that, which of course it sucks, but I mean bishop g4 here is not that bad actually. We traded. I pushed the pawn, and yeah, this was a blunder because I thought if he goes for this fork, I was like, oh, I give this check and I'm going to win the knight. But I completely missed that he can block the check with his queen and he can defend the knight. I traded queens because I did not know what else I should do. And after he takes, I developed my knight and I thought, you know what, this position is not actually that bad. I mean, yeah, of course my opponent is winning, but I'm only down 1 point of material, and if I can activate my knight, let's say to d3, I can actually fight. So my opponent developed his king. I went h6 to cover the back rank, so I can then try to develop and activate my pieces as much as I can. My opponent attacks the pawn. I defend with f5. Oops, wait. I defend with f5, and this move is bad. Yeah, because I can go knight here, and my knight got very active. So I went here, and as you see, the position is equal because my knight is just way too active. My opponent goes rook here, and I go f4 check, and I think my opponent here should have sacked the rook. And yeah, that's the best move because this knight is very active. You have to give up the exchange back. So, but instead my opponent did not, and he moved his king, and now I'm actually better. And g6 was not a good move. I thought I put the king in and mating net, and maybe I can checkmate him somehow, but I should have instead just went rook f8. I think the idea is that he can now sacrifice the rook again and give the exchange back, and this position is just equal. So rook f8 prevents that as you defend the pawn. But anyway, my opponent goes h4. I bring my rook here. My idea is to just push the pawns, and again my opponent had to sacrifice the rook. If they had sacrificed the rook, the position would have been just equal. So I push the pawn, and now my pawns are really great. They are connected. I'm just gonna go push and have a nice position. My opponent brings his king to f5, which I think is just a bad move. I push the pawn, and this is just a blunder because yeah, e2, I push the pawn and to e2, and it's just a fork, and my opponent is going to lose a rook here. So yeah, it's a nice win with the black pieces once again. I hope that in the next video I finally get the white pieces, because this is just really too much, man. So anyway, that's all for today's video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you by day 14. Thank you.